How's it going, everybody? Glad
Hello,
you guys can
everybody.
join us one more
Good,
time.
man.
Very excited to have you. We've got the entire band lined up this time, and we're all very pleased to be here. Hope you guys are doing well. My name is Zach. I'm in here with Louden Swain. You know him, you love him. We're going to open up some songs and just talk about them, part by part. Let's break down this record.
I was just gonna say before we start,
Uh-huh.
can we make some drinking rules? Like if we hear like a certain thing, we all have to drink and
Oh
see if
yeah,
by the
it's
end
a
of this
great
thing we
one.
could get plenty plastered.
Yeah, let's see. What would be the magic word?
Edit.
Edit.
How about the word edit? Yeah.
Let's do
I
it.
hear the word edit.
There will be some of those,
We gotta
not a
try
ton.
Yeah.
You guys all
Starting now.
Nah.
Now.
Why don't we get started with like a little bit of the story behind Another Fool? Just because it's, I think this was one of those like magic studio moments that you read about in books, where the entire song just kind of stumbled right into our lap.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. How exactly did that whole thing happen? Like,
Yeah,
with you?
it was a. So it's a song that I wrote for this short film that I wrote called The Sidekick, and I wrote it specifically for that movie, but it was really just a verse and a chorus, and so I'm just sitting down in the music booth, and the guys started playing along with me, and I can't remember if it was like me and Billy in there first. We just started, and literally I was like, okay, let's write a bridge, and we just like started playing chords. I was like, okay, I guess that's that, and then I just scribbled a third verse on my knee, and we were, and then you just started recording.
Yeah. I think we kind of
pretty
found
cool.
it during sound check. We weren't even ready to go for the record yet. This might have been the first thing we recorded.
No, yeah, totally. And you said, you were like, is that one of yours? And I'm like, yeah, this is this is the song we're gonna do. This is, you were like, oh my God, let's do it.
Yeah. That riff just kind of came out so done sounding. I mean, what else can you add to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's beautiful. I think the only thing I added, like while we were sitting down, trying to come up with parts and stuff, just to get you started, was this loop. Just to give you something to groove off of. And that's buried way back on the record. Like, it's more of a feeling than it is a sound. But that's like the whole core of the song. I think we laid down a vocal immediately, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Where'd the loop come from, Zach?
I think I pulled this one in from Omnisphere, which is like just a really beautiful sample library. A lot of film scoring dudes use it. I think early on we'd talked a lot about trying to write around loops more than tracking to a click. Like the standard procedure when you're recording stuff inside of a studio is set up a metronome that's just in everybody's head, and everyone references that for their time. So in the worst cases, that can make things a little bit predictable and robotic. So we wanted to try and like build our own loops from the ground up to make things feel a little bit more organic. Like we would lean on those a bit heavier than like the standard click track, and impart everything with a mood, like before we even start recording anything.
Did that take long to edit, Zach?
Which one? The loop or what?
That's
or
right.
Just making a drinking
When you
excuse.
edited the loop.
I'm gonna have to keep up with you guys. I haven't had enough coffee yet today.
Damn
it!
It's 3.
I'm gonna have to go get another bottle here soon.
Yeah. So I think, Billy, you probably tracked like all these extra guitars when you were at home, yeah? Because we just started everything off of Rob's guitar and then added bass and drums on top of that. But you did all the slides, right?
Yeah, I mean, the song was so beautiful as it was. So like for me to do anything other than some sort of counter melody just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, and I'm not a slide guitar player by any means, but I'm just like, it needs slide, So I just kind of tucked away some slide takes in there, and it just really, I think it complemented it pretty nicely. But I mean, it's just such a beautiful song.
Do you have a dobro at home, or did you use like just a acoustic or something?
Acoustic, just mic'd a little tricky, to kind of give it that dobro-ish type of feel.
That's super
And I used a steel slide, and that helps as well, and the steel string. So
you did that a lot for this album, Billy. You did a lot of, like, you had like a real country solo. you know. And
Yeah, that was
there were a lot of moments where you're like, am I going to be able to do this? And you did it amazingly well.
Oh,
What was the
thank
song
you.
where you did the country solo?
that was during No Time Like in Prison.
A big one, wasn't it?
Well, no, big one was we actually hired a pedal steel guy for that, but
No, but did you have like a that kind of solo?
maybe, yeah. There was one. I think there was one during not Nightlight, but is it Nightlight?
Anyway, Zach, feel free to move on.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
Yeah. As we digress from the song.
Yeah. Why don't we listen to a little bit of that slide recording? It's awesome. The simplicity of that's really, really good. You leave so much space
awesome,
for the vocal.
man. That's so cool.
Ah, cool.
I took the guitar samples, like just a loop of that, and I started just messing around with it to try and make something to lift up the next verse. So I just took all the top and bottom out of the guitar, so it just sounds really focused. You get a whole lot of note, not a whole lot of guitar-y kind of noise. And then drowned it in a bunch of weird effects. So this kind of like pans things left and right, chops it up a little bit along the way.
I love that.
Filters more of the
That's
top,
amazing.
makes it really weird and wide. A couple layers of that with some reverb, and suddenly you have like a weird synth pad that's built out of all stuff that we have in there. So we did not break
So
any of
cool.
the rules about like staying acoustic with everything. It's it's the fakest acoustic, but it's there.
You want to know what I just realized that I think is really cool? None of us have seen this session after you've mixed it.
Probably not.
That's right.
So a lot of this stuff is like we're hearing for the very first time,
Yeah.
isolated ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
Totally.
Yeah. The last time you would have seen it was probably one of the string tracking sessions or the last day of
Right.
vocals.
Yeah.
After that, we just kind of fixed everything over email.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this key sample is also an Omnisphere thing. Nice and long and glassy.
So cool.
I didn't even know that was in there.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it's buried in
say
the
the same
second
thing.
chorus. You can kind of feel it. Last time, I had a weird confession to make that I'd never heard one of the songs before we started working on it, and I just listened to it like the day before we did this interview thing. One more weird confession. I played another keyboard part on this song, and just because I pressed the wrong button and never routed it, it never printed. So you guys never heard it, and so I figured like, oh, that must be like totally fine then. You know, they probably barely noticed that it's there, not even worth commenting on. On the day that I was printing the final masters, I realized that no one had ever heard it before. So because like no one had ever signed off on it, I just decided like, oh cool, the song must be fine without it. But like I spent a bunch of time like, you know, practicing like Fender Rhodes stuff to try and get my chops in place so I could play this part, and it's gone. It's never going to see the light of day.
Oh no.
So here's the missing keyboard. So it's just in for bridge and nowhere else.
That's amazing.
That's great.
That's awesome, man. That is so cool.
That could be a theme song, like an intro to like
Yeah.
a new show. Like,
The
Yeah.
new sitcom.
Zach, what was your confession from last time that you hadn't heard one of the songs?
Yeah, I hadn't listened to
Cali
which
Nation.
one was it? Yeah, Cali Nation. I'd never heard the original before. The first time I heard it was when we were tracking it in the studio.
Oh, wow.
And
Crazy.
I never went back and checked the original. I listened to it for the first time on Tuesday.
My favorite part of that on this album was what you added to that song to make it the homage to Dre,
Yeah.
Snoop.
Yeah, I love that part too.
Yeah, it's so
I think
good.
music needs a little bit of a sense of humor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. You know, we do that. We're drawn to that.
Yeah.
We're a sucker for that. A little bit of humor in songs. You know, we're not. It's not beneath us to have a cat noise in a song. after mention of a cat. Right, Norton?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Wait for my solo album.
It's gonna be all cats.
Are you going to load up just a Casio keyboard with a bunch of animal samples?
Yeah.
But specifically suit and tie, Norton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who did that cat noise trivia?
Ooh,
Was that an
good
actual
question.
cat?
It's the cat.
No,
No,
that's
I think
me.
it was Norton.
It was
Norton.
me.
Yeah.
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 Inspired by this one.
Yeah. I've got my cat.
No, it
probably
wasn't.
sleeping somewhere
That one
outside.
was
If
this
she
year.
starts pounding down the door, I'll let her in. But until
Yes,
then, I'll
yes,
just let
that was.
her
It was
rest.
before I got lucky. Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Zach.
Here we go.
That was a sick edit, guys. Sick
Yeah.
edit.
Hey, stick at it.
I was gonna drink regardless.
I'll keep you all
Zach, what do
hydrated.
we have? What do we have for rhythm in this song?
We've got the bass and drums, one shaker, and nothing else.
Wow.
Which is like, it's pretty tight.
I
It's
think
pretty
you should.
minimal.
I think you should solo that shaker track and let everybody hear the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I didn't even have to edit it this time.
Let's hear that shaker.
That was
Well,
all
here's
one
a
take,
question.
right?
Yeah.
When Norton does the shaker, is he there doing every single shake, or do you copy and paste it?
On this one, I just cut out 2 bars and looped it for the entire time. So it's just one repetition
Right.
through the whole thing. But I think you played the entire thing, and I just like copied the pattern. Like
I did.
Yeah, he usually back in the day he would. He'd play the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was when we were doing on
Now
reel
I'm-
to reel.
Yeah.
Now I'm too lazy.
When you had
No, he's got like
choice.
a shaker stunt man.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 bars and he's out.
I'm call me One Shake Steve.
Yeah. I do really dig the pickup in the kick rhythm over here too. How like the kick drum gets a bit more like active and hip hop towards the back half of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like I wanted it to be really sparse early, and then it's like it felt like it needed some movement, and I feel like the movement gives it a nice pickup at that end.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a place where I'm just another fool. Maybe I'm a lot like you.
Yeah, we really love the what Norton got to do on this album. Really like kind of stripping him away from the rock drum kit.
Yeah.
And I think this song's one of the more experimental stuff, like experimental beats for you, I think, Steve. And I just love the way it all came out. You know, it's so different for us.
Yeah. Yep. I also the other thing that we did on this song that we came I remember us coming up with in the studio was that extended hold on those background vocals, like echoing what you were saying and then holding that last note and doing the sort of like fade out on it.
There's a stall in my plan and a cut on my hand.
That
There's a
yeah.
break in my heart.
Oh yeah.
Come and take me wherever you are. Well, maybe there's a place where I'm just another fool. And maybe I'm a lot like you.
What is going on that lead vocal?
Well, maybe there's a place where I'm just another fool. And maybe I'm a lot like you.
That's really big.
So much on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the space of the delay.
What's crazy is you don't
Slap
hear it. You don't
Yeah.
hear it in the mix.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a place.
Yeah, we kept it pretty tight at the beginning too. So the end of the song gets big, it just doesn't feel big, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just feels more significant.
There's a hole in the road and a cone on the hole. There's a flag changing hands and a man with no master plan.
Yeah. just a hair really, really short reverb, a tiny bit of space, not much else to it. Again, simplicity was everything for this record, but there's just like one little stab of this chattery little guitar thing. It's probably going to be impossible to hear it on the stream. Let's just like crank it up and see if it sounds cool.
It's funny that like the stab is just a little short one, right? And then then it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
Yeah, it's going through like a handful of effects, really short, really chattery delays. And the backwards reverb is, simple, straight ahead. Someone in chat says, this is simplistic? Oh God, yes. Yes, it is. And that's a good thing. One of these days I'll open up one of my like pop productions or something and you'll see like, oh, there are 64 synths that I can't even hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, it's simplistic in the recording sense, but really what we're talking about is just stripping away a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah. I think we should give this song a listen from top to bottom.
There's a hole in the road and a cone on the hole. There's a flag changing hands and a man with no master plan. Maybe there's a place where I'm just another fool. Maybe I'm a lot like you. There's a stitch in my head and a twitch in the thread. There's a hitch in my step when the light isn't left on red. Maybe there's a place where I'm just another fool. Maybe I'm a lot like you. When the days are long and the nights are wrong, there you are in my periphery. You come to me. There's a stall in my plan and a cut on my head. There's a break in my heart. Come and take me wherever you are. Well, maybe there's a place where I'm just another fool. And maybe I'm a lot like you. Maybe I'm a lot like you. Yeah, maybe I'm a lot like you.
Sick edits all around,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, right.
How many olives can actually fit in a martini?
I think
It's
that
like
you're pushing
4.
the limit, right?
I'm rocking 5 right now, but
Look at you.
Ooh, does that mean you've had 5 martinis?
no, God no. It means I've
God,
had
no,
one
God, no.
one
2.5.
martini. Just
You just love
yeah,
olives.
exactly. Yeah. I might get to 5 by the end of the night, but not right now.
Are we live right now?
We're
We
live.
sure are.
Yeah, we're
We're
live.
doing it live.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
this is
We're live.
this is the part of the broadcast when we just kind of like we relax for a second, catch our breath, collect our thoughts, open up another song, and this is all
that's
going to get
hilarious. I
edited out for the
forgot.
rebroadcast.
I'm sitting here like,
Hey, wait! This
Yeah.
is the time where we give a commercial to Mike's Papo J's vodka. When you want to get drunk during quarantine, try some Papo J's vodka.
Right.
Makes a wonderful martini. Well,
When
Mike,
you're-
what are some of the other drinks?
when you're drunk on Papa J's, picture Mike's face.
When you're
Always picture
throwing
Mike's
up
face
in your
when I'm
rose
drunk.
garden.
Picture Mike's mustache.
When you're throwing up in your rose garden at 10 in the morning, just remember, it's Mike's fault.
Oh my.
When you have to tell the cab driver to pull over.
That's right. Blame this mix.
When you're lying to your family about where you were last night.
I would like to reiterate that this is going to get edited out.
No, this
Oh,
is
no.
gold. This is gold,
This is
Zach.
comedy gold. Comedy gold, Zach.
Okay, all right, let's get started on a new one, shall we? So,
Yes.
it's weird. During the last broadcast, we spent so many times talking about like, oh, what was that song where we tried that weird thing with like the snare drum? Wasn't that big one? And then like, oh, where's that like really reverby guitar? Like that weird slide that we put in there? That was a big one too, right? We just brought it up so many times. I decided maybe we should just dive in on that.
Yeah,
Let's
because we
open
put
that boy up.
we put the huge reverb on the midsection with the drums, which was like probably my most fun thing to play on this whole album.
Yeah.
It was like the one time where I actually got to hit the drums hard.
Only time you get to bash. You got your one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think we also had questions last time about like what the most complex session was. It probably is this one. Like if there were strings on it, it would be massive.
Yeah.
But shy of that, like there's a whole lot going on in here, so we should probably
There's a lot of tracks over there on the left.
Yeah, plenty of things going on.
What is our track count?
On this one?
It's like about 40.
It's gonna be somewhere around there. Yeah.
38.
Right, you could read
Did you
that?
check?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm putting in my
that's
bet.
the guess.
I'm betting 38.
Yeah.
38?
Are we doing an over under?
All right.
How many
I got
jelly
39
beans in
on
the
this.
jar?
I'll do
39.
39.
Yeah.
42.
No, you sticking with 40?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with 40.
Okay.
All right, 38.
Do we mean all tracks or
39.
just audio?
All tracks.
All tracks.
All tracks. Okay. All right.
Although
Maybe go for that.
subs don't count.
Subs and masters are out. Okay, cool. How about
Yeah. Subs and masters
VCAs or
don't
subs? I'll leave those out. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Winner has to drink.
Winner has to drink.
Finish their drink. Sorry, finish their drink.
Oh God.
Oh, no.
All right. 39 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Holy cow.
6. 6 subs.
Wait.
That puts us at 33. Who's closest?
33.
Oh, I went over though. We all went over. I said 38.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went 39.
Is it whoever's
Yeah.
closest? Whoever's closest?
Closest. That's you. That's you, Billy.
That's you, Billy.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Drink the rest
Make
of
it
that
happen.
beer. Yeah. There you go. There's a
But
good
hey,
boy.
The real
That's a
question
good
is the real question is how many edits were in this song.
Fuck yeah.
Dozens.
Mm.
All right. Let's start opening up some of the rhythm guitars. Just start from like what we did in the room live. I think. I want to say this is Billy playing on this one for the first guitar, and you were probably in the ISO room tracking live with the drum tracks. You can actually hear the drums bleeding in there a tiny bit. We probably had some notes going back and forth with finding the best way to get it as out as possible. So it sounded as clean, individual as we could get it. Then we did one big clunky edit, like right at the top of the chorus, where we go from 2 guitars, panned left, right. So we go from stereo to mono. Everything switches over to just on the left side. That opens up more space for us to get one more guitar in there. So suddenly we go super wide. think on this song, every single chorus gets something elevating it, and that's the first thing that lifts the first chorus up.
The thing about this song that was unique was I really liked the original a lot. I like what we did with it on the album. And so there's nothing I really wanted to change. And the other guys got in before me and were working with you, kind of rearranging in the studio. And the first thing you all sent me was this idea. And that was the first I'd like heard of it. And I remember Billy's, it's one of those things where it's like, just open your mind, just,
that's right, yeah.
And
were you, Robbie, were you a little resistant to it originally?
With this and Silver Spoon, both of them, it just took my mind a second to get it around to this new idea. But then once I got it, I was like, great. And I remember sitting in, doing my guitar track for this song, and I had to use a capo, Billy. So I had to kind of relearn the chords I was playing.
Right, and then we changed the timing a little bit. I think I was going to say the first time we did
the
this
timing
one
was hard.
Yeah, the first time we did this was in the green room. I think Mike had the acoustic,
Mm-hmm,
and he was doing it, and we started singing it. And we're like, oh, that could be kind of interesting.
That's
and like
right.
I said, like no one was fully in, but when we started doing it, it became something really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really on the heels of right after we decided, okay, well, rock song would be a good one to do, and then it was just we were just sitting in the green room. Okay, what other song can we?
Right. You're right.
Screw around with.
Reimagine.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and this was the next one we did.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. You guys recorded yourselves in the green room, and that's what you sent me.
Right.
Who did we get to play pedal steel on this one?
What's that?
Joel.
Joel. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Right, Joel. Yep.
Our buddy Joel Martin, who also played the guitar solos on Cast Off and and maybe Codependent?
Codependent, yeah. He
Yeah.
did not so much the solos. He did that like just.
He did color. Yeah,
Color.
he basically added color to those songs. Yeah.
He's like a texture utility kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, now he almost exclusively plays pedal steel.
Yeah, that was another thing with this whole process is like we weren't afraid to go outside of our group. You know, it's like we were like, let's pull in some guy that mastered the pedal steel and let's have him play on this. And I think that was really fun.
Yes,
because that's all I could hear on this song is a pedal steel. You know, and I'm like, and I know like while I would love to learn pedal steel, I wasn't at the ability where I would be good enough to play on that. So I think that was really fun.
Yeah,
that's one of those instruments that's not an easy instrument to play.
Yeah, I also think it takes a lot.
Yeah,
of
this is
good taste.
This is Joel's Insta for anybody who's interested.
That's not Joel, dude. Joel, that's not Joel.
Yeah, it actually is.
No, it's not. Is it? That is not it.
That is Joel.
Oh yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah, that's great.
It is so pretty.
Yeah, I hate to use the E word again, but this one actually did take a whole lot of editing because he sent us like three different.
It did.
He sent us like three
Edit
different
away,
versions. One was really sparse, one was really active, and I think they all kind of went crazy at the ending. He did some really aggro stuff on every single take for the outro.
And didn't we have him do pedal steel as well on Trigger Finger?
Did he?
I don't think so.
Maybe.
Trigger Finger, we had
We had a violinist.
Did we have somebody else play guitar?
We had the violin.
The violinist.
We had a fiddle.
Oh, the violinist did a solo.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Because I remember having discussions on that song about how much of the violin solo we wanted in that song.
Right. Yeah, we did go back and
I
forth
was
a bunch of times
confusing those two.
Yeah. I think most of the stuff that ended up on the record was all just one take where we just kind of said, hey, we've got everything that we need. You're off the leash. Go have fun. Give us weird stuff.
Yeah.
And right away she did this like crazy Eddie Van Halen slide and started shredding like straight off the bat. And it's like, oh, cool. Well, that's going on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we used pretty much all that take.
I remember that day too, Zach, because we were there and I'm like, we felt we had enough. I'm like, let's just let her do one.
Yeah.
Where we just don't give her any suggestions. You know, we just say, just do whatever comes naturally.
We had a lot of guests on this album.
We had this big resonance kick, which is like it's like just the shell of a drum with the skin slung super loosely on top of it that
that's
supposed to hang in front of a kick drum. Like, it's not a drum. Yeah, and we ended up putting it on this track.
It's basically a concert bass drum.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a timpani without a bottom.
Yeah,
so it's just doing it every now and then in the chorus.
So what are the drums doing? What are you doing, Norton?
Just basically, I think I was playing hi-hat really tight, and I think I used a regular snare drum on it. It was basically the regular kit, but everything was pretty muted, and then we overdubbed the kick drum with that big concert bass drum, and then I overdubbed, I think, shaker, right, Zach?
Yeah, we got shakers on this.
Yep, and and then we did a separate take where we took all the padding off the drums and really opened it up for the middle section.
Yeah, that's going to be a wild one. All the chorus stuff and the verses are all pretty contained. This is a really 70s drum sound. It could be on like
very much so.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like a Fleetwood Mac record.
Super muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like, well, you can't see my kit from here. It's basically what I've got set up now, which is like towels on my drums.
Are you trying that? That's rad.
Well, it's like it works really well for playing in your living room when you've got neighbors that are relatively close.
Yeah. I think you also did this snare overdub part from home, right?
Yes. Was that for this song, right? Or was that for Triggerfinger? That was for this song, right?
Yeah, this is the guy.
Yeah, that I just set up a snare drum in my living room and played it with brushes.
Yeah, we threw some spring reverb on it to make it sound just like big and loose and bouncy.
Mm-hmm.
Then the coup de grace, the thing that brings it home.
Yeah,
there you go.
There it is.
The rock.
Yeah.
The rock.
Yeah, that's just two like really, really dark microphones right in front of the kit, kind of spread out from each other.
Hey Zach, did you for those two mics that you recorded that big drum part with? Did you slap a whole bunch of compression on them?
Yeah, I passed them through two distressors, which are like really aggressive 70s style, but like kind of designed with usability in mind. You know, they're built for the 90s, but they're made to sound kind of old school.
Yeah,
great, phenomenal piece of gear. Can't have a studio without two of them.
That's great, Zach. You know, it's like it's amazing how much you effects you put on things on a record like this that's really sounds completely raw and live, which was what we wanted. And it's just amazing that how I think it's important that people know like the crafting of a producer like you and what you bring to the project, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that I don't even know of, that you do
truly the unsung hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, thank you guys.
I was touching upon that last time. Is like there's so much of the stuff that even like we as the band haven't even experienced yet. Like where it's like there's a little bit of reverb that you put on the vocal, or a little bit of a delay that you don't hear it when everything is in the mix, but suddenly you're just like, oh wow, it just expands that one track so much, and that's all you, Zach. I mean, you certainly were the one behind the wheel on this, and I'm super proud of that, and I mean, I couldn't be happier with what you've been able to do.
Yeah, people don't realize like the sound, like the effect of reverb can make a voice sound more live than the actual recording of a voice live. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's an art form.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. I mean, by the same token, I wouldn't be able to I can't do what you guys do by any measure. I think you guys just have so much experience playing out live, interacting with each other, writing phenomenal songs that it really makes my job easier just to be able to walk in, never having heard some of these songs at all, and just try to imagine like you've got a great start what can I do to elevate it? It kind of puts like a little bit of a gun to my head because like I have to take great and lift it up even more, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're truly one of my favorite bands
we
to
love
work
working with you
period.
because you get us, you can not hear a song, but then hear it and be like, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Right.
You know?
I think the job of a producer is to find the single most badass thing in every musician that they're working with or every band and just crank it up to 11. Find something that everybody is going to love and make them love it louder.
Yeah, and you've been a great outside voice for the band too. And the four of us, we've been playing for so long, and sometimes we get kind of set in our ways, and it's great having that outside voice.
Yeah, it's important to have.
We really need that sometimes. It's great to have a tiebreaker in you.
Yeah, I've been recording all these demos, Zach, and right now I'm working on Logic Pro. But I keep like recording and going like, I don't. Zach would know how to do this. I know you're a Pro Tools guy, but I'm like, Zach would know. I just want this to do this.
Yeah, that's time on instrument. That's
yeah.
If I practice music as much as I practice Pro Tools.
Yeah.
If only.
At the end of the day, Rob, it's all about the edit.
That's true.
There we go.
I like it.
Hey guys, this is for the editors.
Yes.
Yes. For the editors.
Cheers to the editors.
Crap, I'm done.
Let's get you a new one, Mikey.
Yeah, time to refresh.
A new one.
In the meantime, why don't we work on some of these backing vocals?
Is to get Mike drunk.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Always my goal.
That's a worthwhile goal.
Dude, I bet Mike drunk with that mustache would be really scary.
Will he become mean or happier?
No, I'm happy. I'm a happy drunk.
Mike's a happy drunk.
You know I'm
I don't know, man.
I can't imagine it any other way, man.
There's some patchwork in the wall behind you.
But he will all of a sudden discover his porn directing career.
That's true.
Zach's going, okay, I'm going to cut that out.
Yeah.
No, that's living. That's going
was
forever.
That one of you guys called me Juan Jeremy the other day? Is that you?
Juan
Jeremy.
I like that.
Oh, man, that's a
I could have
t-shirt.
sworn one of you guys coined that phrase for me.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That sounds like a rich joke to me.
Or
Yeah,
I think Michael Rosenbaum, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
That's a Rosenbaum joke.
That's a whole thread that should not be spoken of.
No, really shouldn't.
Oh, man. We should get him in for one of these. He'd be a good drinking buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah. Anyway, why don't we open up some of these backing vocals? There's so many pretty things happening this one. I don't even know where to start.
Tell me.
Yes.
Cloud Valley, intoxicated.
Backing vocals courtesy of Juan. Awesome. And it's just ooze all day until the end of the song, yeah?
Mike has the best timbre in his voice for the ooze.
Yeah.
His voice was made for ooze.
Also, Mike's. I think one of our secret weapons has always been that Mike and my voices blend together really well.
Yeah.
I think we found that early in the band.
Yeah.
That was one of our strong points, is that our voices just blend together. We had the same timbre.
Right in that, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right in that same range, too.
Yeah.
I think we have a couple more vocal layers going on here, too.
That's Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, I feel like I should apologize for these. I remember, we were in the studio, and I was really, really finicky about the way that, these should sound in the background of everything else. I was like, no, just quieter, but not quiet. No, don't whisper it, though, but not too loud. Can we soften it even more? Just more gentle, but lullaby, but put some rock behind it. I'm totally.
How many takes did you make him do, Zach?
Yeah.
I remember having to move forward on the mic, move back on the mic, just kind of, try to find that perfect space between, the spacing of the mic and where the vocals are.
Yeah, and I
Well,
think the spot where
it
we
says
landed.
BG 31, so I'm imagining that there are 30 other takes before that.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit. Yeah.
My way too organized brain is kind of freaking out that the background vocals are BG 1, 2, 7, 8.
Dude, I was
3,
gonna say
4.
BGs.
The Bee Gees.
I was gonna say that.
I'm fired. I'm
That's
so
a positive.
fired.
That's a positive. That's not a
Yeah.
negative.
So I think we settled on like getting this texture right by kind of making everything a bit slurred. Like
When it starts to quiet, quiet when it starts to quiet.
that's very slick. You know?
Yeah.
It's all quiet, quiet.
Oh, these boys are great too.
It's
Oh,
all
that's
Dude, I want a
right.
remix. I want
Yeah.
a remix where we focus on just that line.
It's all
That's- that's hooky.
quiet.
What?
Ask and you shall receive.
That's hooky, Mike. That's
You might
hooky,
regret
Mike.
it, but you'll get it.
Yeah,
I want
great.
it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, have you guys seen the Beastie Boys documentary yet?
There's a
Not
Beastie
yet.
Boys
Yeah,
documentary?
no.
What?
Oh, it's so good. It is
I've got to
so
dig that
good.
up.
You've got to watch it. It's
Yeah, it's on Apple
down.
TV Plus.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Can
do
we
that.
Yeah,
start
I
the
saw
song
part
out?
of it, but I need to watch the rest.
Yeah.
Can we start
So
the song out with that vocal?
with the
Like, check it out. Like, just start it from the beginning. Like a
like a
vocal.
like a
Let's- everybody
12-inch
listen.
dance. It's a 12-inch
Yeah,
dance
here we go.
remix.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Let's hear it, Zach.
Okay, so we've got
It's all quiet.
that vocal's got like all the note to it, and the
Yep,
other
yep.
guy has all the
Yep.
texture.
It's all quiet.
Whispery dude, way too much reverb. Between the two of them, you end up with something that's, it's got life, but you never lose what the melody is while you're going
It's all
down.
quiet. Quiet when it starts to quiet.
Whole gang.
So cool.
It's all quiet. Quiet when it starts to quiet.
Yes.
It's all quiet.
Right.
Quiet when it starts to
Hey
quiet.
Zach, you gotta send me that. You gotta print that, just the vocals.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
send it to me as a file.
Okay,
There's something
I
there,
will.
guys.
So that
There's
that
something
was
there.
me and that was me doing the it's all quiet. It's all
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then Mike doing the echo.
Yeah.
I remember we were all together that day.
yeah,
That was fun.
that was a fun one.
That's when we get this idea. We're like listening back in the room, and we're like, oh.
Yeah,
Mike,
yeah,
you should
exactly.
Echo it out. And then like Mike runs in there and puts it, and we get. That's when recording's really fun. We have the ideas as you're listening to what you did, and then you just like hop in the booth and do it as the idea's still fresh.
Yeah. Is there any other fun stuff? Oh, there's one more fun thing. I did get to put Rhodes on this song after,
Oh,
after
right.
burying it on the other one. I just put in one little pokey dude that pops up during the chorus. You can really only hear the chime of it. The note is gone, but it just makes the chorus gel together because there's something really consistent and rhythmic about it. It pulls you in a little deeper.
Can I hear
almost-
that part with? Can I hear that
Now
part
I've
with
got to
all the
listen to
music?
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's pull that in. Hide the vocal. Just see how it works.
Yep.
Crank it up a little. I was messing around with this plugin a ton.
Yeah,
while I was
the
mixing
orbit.
This one. Yeah. So this plugin echoes the way that like your ears work in stereo, and tries to make it sound like a sound is rotating around it instead of just being able to pan left and right, like the functions that are built into every mixing board ever made.
It's crazy. It's free.
Yeah.
It's free with
Yeah.
Pro Tools.
No,
I know,
it's
it's
free
just
from
on the
Sennheiser.
Sennheiser
Really?
website. Yeah.
Do we have
That's
it
how
on?
we did yeah, that's how we did the 8D thing.
Yeah.
Pioneer
So it's
Open.
just circling really slowly around everybody.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's what the Green Day mix did. I was sending you guys.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
More
you
and
hear
more
the,
dudes are
you hear the
starting to do
guitar
these
back
tricks.
here.
Yeah.
Back
It
Yeah.
just kind of spins around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
crazy.
Zach,
Yeah.
for the next one, we're gonna lean heavily into that in some spots for sure.
Love
Yeah.
it. Good. I'm into that. Yeah, a lot of my favorite mixers are getting really deep into that now.
I just hope that involves a lot of edits.
Yeah.
Hell yes, it does.
What else is in there?
The lead vocal is kind of the only other thing. We've got one big edit in here.
Where have you been, debutante?
You have one big what?
Edit.
The culprit is the glossy one
That's killing
you
me.
used when you made up that.
Yeah, the first voice that comes in is all small, tight, light, no effects on it at all, I think.
Knuckles buried deep within the grip of a six-pack. The ice reminds you of the very urge you're pushing back. There's a burning, but you need it so.
Then we get to chorus.
It's a very present
There's a
vocal.
rain cloud and it's heading back my way. There's a valley.
Even then, there's really not a ton of effects on this. This is really
Right.
light and tight.
No, it's very
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
Super dry.
Yeah, we keep it really close to the microphone. That probably makes it pop even more when it's going up against all the other voices when they've got effects on them.
It's heading back my way. There's a valley. They're giving out heartbreak, intoxicated. 'Cause I'm thinking about her face. It's all quiet when the big one starts to quake. And it's all quiet when the big one starts to quake. And it's all quiet when the big one starts to quake.
That's just right in your face. That is the fist in your face.
So interesting too. It's because it's so different from the original. I mean, this is one of the ones
Yeah.
we really went a different direction,
Yeah.
and it took a lot of like working. You know, when you asked me earlier, Norton, about was I resistant? It wasn't. It really was about getting it right. I wanted to really get a feel for what you were hearing, what you guys were hearing. And I remember working with Billy on the like rhythm of that chorus, which has completely
Right.
changed. You know.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing too, is like, while we were all so happy with that first rendition, you're like, how could you possibly change that ever and get anything comparable? You know, it's like such a almost untouchable version of the song.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it's like you just wanted to spend whatever time was needed in order to at least get close to what that was
Yeah. Yeah.
in a new look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And you know, when when I originally wrote the song, like it has the first recording has like an emotional place in my life, and so to reimagine it, you have to find a new place for it, which is what happened with Rock Song. You know, it was this like party song or whatever, and then became this sort of like thoughtful song. And with this too, I had to change it from being striking a certain chord within me to a different place. I didn't think it's kind of a blues type of song in a way. I mean, it's not a blues song, but the lyrics are bluesy, and I still think it is, but I just think it has a little bit more of a country flair now than it
Yeah.
did before.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Americana kind of embraces so many
Yes.
of like the things that were at the periphery of the original. It's not
Totally.
really country, but it's got that kind of lyricism. It's not really
Yeah.
blues, but it's got that feel.
Right.
Yeah, and this just kind of gives it a new backdrop where all of those
Yeah.
elements pop out a little bit more. It's a fresh start. What's the song like about? Like, what was on your mind when you were writing it?
I remember exactly. I used to live in a house that was right off Mulholland Drive at the top of the hill, and in Los Angeles, and so I could look from my house. I had a view of the valley. I could see the valley, and it was just a specific state of mind that I was in, and I started thinking about the big earthquake that's going to come and wipe us out at some point. I started thinking about the big one, you know,
Yeah.
and meaning like the big quake, and so I just like I'm sitting up there on my porch and I'm just writing these feelings I'm having about this thought, looking out into the valley, and you know, feeling like I'm perched up on the porch like some you know, regent of the smog, thinking about the big quake, and then you know, putting the line about like, you know, thinking about her face, because that's always in there too. You're kind of thinking about the person that you long for, that you love, and there's a feeling in Los Angeles a lot of times of like desperation, and it's
I
almost
know
like
what
this
you mean,
feeling
yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah. I think it's used to have like a way to describe it. It's like LA is the world's biggest orphanage.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the place where everybody goes when they want something better, even if they're not 100% sure what it is.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. No, and it creates a desperation. And you know, the feeling of the earthquakes out here is like it's the real deal. Like we had one the other night, and every time it happens, I don't know if you guys were awake. It was about midnight, and it just shook. It wasn't a big one, but still there was a. It lasted about 4 seconds, and every time that
Your heart
happens,
pumping.
yeah, and you just like my reality is screwed.
Yeah.
Like every you know, it really does feel like the hand of God underneath you, like shaking you, and
Mm-hmm.
it really creates this sort of like uneasiness
Yeah.
for the rest
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah, every time
Dude, when I
happens,
lived in
there's
L-
definitely part of my brain that goes like, oh, well, this is it.
Yeah.
It's been good.
When I lived in LA, I never liked sitting under overpasses just for that reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
you're always like you're literally sitting there thinking like, oh, well, if the big one comes now.
Oh yeah,
I'm
whenever I
Yeah.
take the subway, I'm like, not now, not now, not now, not now.
Yeah, totally.
So that's what this song is. You know, it's really about that feeling, I guess. You know, feeling like I'm safe, but yet I'm not safe.
It's weird how much I know what you mean. It's particularly poignant right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we should listen to
The
this
weird world.
Where have you been, debutante? Your eyes are painted shut. The culprit is the glossy one you used when you made up that pretty face. Replaced something. Knuckles buried deep within the grip of a six-pack. The ice reminds you of the very urge you're pushing back. There's a burning, but you need it so. There's a rain cloud and it's heading back my way. There's a valley where they're giving out heartbreak. I'm on high ground, I'll tell you I'm sliding down. And here I am just watching all the walkers and their dogs, hiding in plain sight like a good sentry of the smog, invisible to only those who see. There's a rain cloud and it's heading back my way. There's a valley where they're giving out heartbreak. Intoxicated cause I'm thinking about her face. And it's all quiet when the big one starts to quake. It's all quiet when the big one starts to quake. There's a rain cloud and it's heading back my way. There's a valley, they're giving out heartbreak. Intoxicated, cause I'm thinking about her face. It's all quiet when the big one starts to quake. And it's all quiet when the big one starts to quake. And it's all quiet when the big one starts to quake. It's all quiet. 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 It's all
It's
Cool,
weird
man.
how
That's
much
awesome, Zach.
of the feeling we all kind of got in the room just by like osmosis, by kind of like just agreeing that the song needs to feel this way without having to talk that much about it, and now having heard like more of the
Yeah.
backstory of it, it scans totally different to me. And you know, I spent whatever 20, 30 hours working on this song, Yeah, that was a really that was a like listening to it for the first time. So thank you guys
cool,
for
man.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of feeling in there for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's do it again, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I would love to.
Back to your LA comment, Robbie, on Big One is it's true. Is that there's a feeling of you're here, do something, and when you don't feel like you're doing something, it's easy to slip into a like kind of spiral a bit, So I think that was part of it, for me when I was thinking about that song. That's kind of where I was going. Is like you feel like you have this this sense of you have to take advantage of where you are, what the opportunities you have around you, and then there's also a point that you have to like kind of just sit back and just enjoy your life,
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that song's special to me, man. Both versions, of course, but it certainly makes me feel a little more comfortable,
Yeah.
I think it's also good to kind of take times like these to remind ourselves, like, oh, this is why we do everything. There's something about it that feels really important, and I know that like the reason I still make music, even though it's kind of a constant, little bit of an uphill fight. It's a struggle to stay alive. There's absolutely no work right now, but it's to be able to tell stories like that, and hope that somebody who needs to hear them hears it when they need to.
Yeah.
And, like that's saved my life more than once. Hearing the right record at the right time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. You're amazing. Thank you so much for making time for this.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you for
Couldn't
putting it
ask
all
for,
together, Zach.
Better people, better friends,
Thanks,
better musicians.
Thanks for having us, buddy.
For sure, man.
Thank you,
Hey,
Zach.
and first of all, I just want to say thank you for all of the edits. I think the edits were like a huge accomplishment.
Nothing left.
I mean, edit after edit after edit after edit. I would say. Kudos to
Making
you.
out IOUs, drink IOUs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
All right.
Love you guys.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Love you guys too.
Take care
All
of
right.
yourselves. Be safe.
Yeah,
Wash your hands.
Later.
Be well.
Take care.
Bye.